Prince Andrew reportedly told disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein, "We're in this together," urging him to keep in touch in a leaked email from 2011.
There are few families in Britain more controversial than the House of York. For decades, Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson have been fixtures of both royal glamour and royal disgrace. But now, a new storm has arrived, and this time, it's not aimed directly at them. Their daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, once seen as the innocent faces of a modern royal generation, are being accused of inheriting not only their parents' titles, but their sense of entitlement and their troubling social circles. According to a new report, both sisters have surrounded themselves with what one source called shady friends and appear to be as entitled as their parents. It's a claim that cuts to the very heart of royal privilege. No discussion about Beatrice and Eugenie can begin without addressing the enormous shadow cast by Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson.
That Prince William does want to see his cousins take on a bit more of an informal role when it comes to engagements. This idea of a slimmed down monarchy, I think, might start to be a thing of the past, particularly because we have the Princess of Wales out of action at the moment because of her cancer treatment. Similar.
Andrew, once celebrated as the Queen's handsome, brave son, the dashing air hero of the Falklands, is now disgraced. His disastrous BBC Newsnight interview, his withdrawal from public duties, and his continued association with scandal have rendered his reputation radioactive. Sarah Ferguson, meanwhile, has been both a tabloid punchline and a survivor of her own excesses. From the infamous toe-sucking scandal of the 1990s to her desperate money troubles and her now legendary cash for access sting, she has spent decades walking the tightrope between royal rehabilitation and ruin.
A children's charity is distancing itself from Sarah Ferguson after an email the Duchess of York sent to convicted offender Jeffrey Epstein in 2011, calling him a, quote, supreme friend. Resurfaced, Child Hospice Center Julia's House has issued a statement confirming they'll no longer be associating with the royal.
It's within this climate that Beatrice and Eugenie grew up, surrounded by wealth, privilege and publicity, but also by controversy. They were raised in Windsor, shielded but not untouched by their parents' turbulent marriage, divorce and finances. To the outside world, they were the sweet-natured daughters of the Duke and Duchess of York, but inside the palace, sources say, there was a growing sense that the girls had absorbed the same unshakable belief in entitlement that has long defined their parents' reputation. According to the Daily Mail's reporting, multiple royal insiders have described the York sisters as entitled, echoing the same arrogance that has long been associated with Andrew and Sarah. The accusations are wide-ranging, from tone-deaf displays of privilege to maintaining questionable friendships with socialites, financiers, and individuals who have brushed against scandal themselves. One insider quoted in the report claimed that both Beatrice and Eugenie are completely insulated from reality, moving in elite circles, shielded by wealth and connections, and seemingly unaware of how their choices appear to the wider public.
Your favourite duo, the King's nieces, Beatrice and Eugenie, were on the cover of a magazine this week, and they were described as the royal family's secret weapons. Did you write that headline?
I have to say, it's a bit of a journalistic cliche. I think secret weapons that we may have to stop.
There's no such thing.
The article links them, indirectly, to a network of family friends with controversial reputations, people whose dealings have raised eyebrows within both aristocratic and business circles. It's the same criticism that dogged their parents for years, a tendency to trust, or even befriend, those whose intentions are self-serving. Perhaps most damning is the suggestion that Beatrice and Eugenie have not learned from their parents' mistakes, but rather adopted their habits, defending them privately, socialising with the same kinds of people, and displaying what one critic called a blithe disregard for consequence. Princess Beatrice works in finance and technology ventures, Eugenie in the art world. Both lead what they describe as normal lives, with careers, mortgages, and children of their own. But critics argue that their definition of normal is far from the reality of most Britons.
But I still don't think we're going to be seeing Princess Anne, on the front page of any newspaper, because she doesn't, sadly, bring that glamour. She does bring clout, And we do love, as we said earlier, the female members of the royal family. It is nice to see them no matter what their age, and I don't want to be ageist.
Both live in multi-million-pound properties. Beatrice in a Cotswolds home purchased with help from her husband's wealthy family, and Eugenie in a royal grace and favour residence in Kensington Palace. They holiday in luxury, attend elite events, and socialise with the same upper-crust circles that have long kept the York family in headlines. Those who know them say they're kind, warm and hard-working. Yet detractors insist they benefit from immense privilege without accountability, rarely facing scrutiny for choices that would destroy a lesser-known public figure. In short, they may work, but they're still royal, and with that comes a level of comfort and access that ordinary people will never know. The criticism, then, isn't about what they do, but what they represent, the enduring bubble of royal entitlement. Perhaps the most sensitive part of the accusations lies in their social connections. The York sisters are said to maintain friendships with individuals who've been embroiled in controversy.
I grew up with an incredible mum as a children's author, so stories really created that sense of imagination.
From financiers whose fortunes are shrouded in secrecy, to celebrity friends with questionable reputations. It's not the first time such claims have surfaced. The Yorks have a long history of associating with wealthy outsiders, hoping to trade proximity to royalty for influence. Beatrice and Eugenie's defenders argue they're simply friendly and open-hearted, that they judge people on character, not headlines. But others say this naivety mirrors the same misjudgment that brought their father to ruin. One insider described their network as a revolving door of the ambitious and the infamous, an uncomfortable echo of their parents' social calendars in the 1990s, filled with glamorous dinners, private jets, and the powerful. Royal watchers suggest that for the sisters, these friendships may be less about indulgence and more about survival, a way of staying relevant in circles that still value the cachet of royal blood, even when the monarchy itself is shrinking.
Well, this is what we do know about Prince Andrew and the businessman and convicted child offender Jeffrey Epstein. We know Prince Andrew got to know Jeffrey Epstein in 1999. We know that he saw him fairly regularly.
The deeper question raised by these accusations is whether entitlement is learned, inherited, or simply inevitable for those born into royalty. Beatrice and Eugenie have lived their entire lives under the weight of titles they did not choose, but they have also benefited immensely from them. Critics say they have adopted their parents' sense of exceptionality, a belief that rules apply differently to them, that doors will always open, and that public criticism will eventually fade. The tragedy, perhaps, is that neither daughter seems capable of escaping the orbit of the York reputation. Each attempt to rebrand themselves, through careers, charity work, or motherhood, is quickly overshadowed by headlines about their parents, their privilege, or their questionable friends. And while other royals have managed to modernise their image, the Yorks appear trapped in a perpetual cycle of scandal and self-defence. Of course, not everyone agrees with the damning portrait painted in the media. Friends of the sisters have spoken out, describing the claims as grossly unfair. They argue that Beatrice and Eugenie have lived remarkably normal lives, considering their circumstances. Both hold steady jobs, married for love, and keep relatively low profiles compared to the more senior royals. They are devoted mothers and active in charitable work. Many royal commentators also note that much of the public's hostility is rooted less in what the sisters have done and more in resentment toward Prince Andrew. His actions have tainted their reputation by association. There's a sense that they are paying the price for their father's sins, condemned for the mere fact of loyalty to him. But as one former courtier remarked, in the royal family, image is everything. And if your image is tied to scandal, innocence doesn't save you. The York saga raises larger questions about the future of the monarchy itself. King Charles has spoken repeatedly about creating a slimmed-down monarchy, focused on duty, not indulgence.
I mean, did you take the money? At one stage you had $40,000 cash sitting in front of you. Did you take it?
Absolutely, yes. And it was given to me and I got it in the car and then returned it straight away.
Once the scandal broke?
As soon as I knew it was a scandal, not once it broke, Michael. But don't try and trick me now, because I'm not going to play this game. Delete that bit. John, can you just delete it?
The Yorks, with their scandals and privilege, stand as the embodiment of what that slimmer model seeks to move away from. If the Windsors are to maintain public trust, the optics of wealth without accountability are increasingly dangerous. Beatrice and Eugenie may not hold official roles, but they still bear royal titles. And with them comes scrutiny. The more they are perceived as entitled or careless in their social choices, the more ammunition critics have against the monarchy as a whole. It is, in the end, not just their personal image at stake, but the credibility of the royal institution itself. In recent weeks, fresh revelations have reignited the flames around the York family's connections to Jeffrey Epstein, this time implicating Sarah Ferguson, Fergie, and Prince Andrew in newly disclosed email correspondence. These revelations have added a sharp edge to the claims that Beatrice and Eugenie may be paying the price for inherited scandal, not just inherited privilege. First, the case of Ferguson. A British tabloid published what it claims to be a 2011 email sent by Fergie to Epstein, in which she refers to him as a supreme friend, and apologises for public comments disavowing their relationship. This email appears to directly contradict her prior statements that she would cut ties with the disgraced financier. According to her spokesperson, the message was sent under what she described as duress, after receiving a menacing phone call from Epstein, described by aides as Hannibal Lecter style. In that call, Epstein allegedly threatened to destroy her unless she retreated from her public condemnation. The fallout has been swift. Multiple charities have announced they will sever links with Fergie as a result of the email leak. Institutions once proud to count her as a patron. The Natasha Allergy Research Foundation, the Teenage Cancer Trust, Prevent Breast Cancer, and others dropped her patronage, citing reputational risk and the inappropriateness of her referring to Epstein as a trusted confidant. From a public relations standpoint, this is a dramatic reversal for someone long viewed as the more sympathetic figure in the York scandal narrative. Then there is Prince Andrew. New scrutiny has fallen on a 2011 email released in legal proceedings and media leaks, in which he writes to Epstein, "We are in this together," and suggests they will play some more soon. The timing is striking. The message was sent one day after a photograph of Andrew with Virginia Giuffre and Ghislaine Maxwell was published, a photo already fueling major controversy. In the email, he signs off with A. HRH, the Duke of York, KG, lending a chilling mix of familiarity and formality to the correspondence. This email undercuts Andrew's long-standing public position that he severed ties with Epstein by December 2010. It suggests he may have maintained covert contact months later, an accusation that, if accepted by the public, further erodes his claims of accountability and reform. Taken together, these email revelations fuse the past and present scandals of the York family. They no longer remain isolated to Prince Andrew's missteps. Now they envelop Fergie too, exposing a pattern of private communication that clashes painfully with public denials. For Beatrice and Eugenie, this deepens the taint. The entitlement complaints gain texture when the family protagonists' own words betray continuity of association with Epstein. The Fergie email scandal and the Andrew Epstein exchange authorise a darker narrative that the Yorks possibly never quite escaped their Epstein connections. And if the past remains alive in these private messages, then the claims that the sisters' entitlement is inherited, not just symbolic, acquire new potency. Entitled or misunderstood, naive or calculating, Beatrice and Eugenie stand at a crossroads. Their parents' generation courted fame and scandal in equal measure. Their grandfather's generation commanded respect through service and restraint. Now, these two women must choose which legacy to uphold. In a world where image is everything, one misjudged friendship or ill-timed photograph can reignite the same headlines their parents once tried to outrun. Perhaps the real question is not whether they are entitled, but whether they can ever truly escape the shadow of the House of York.